welcome to another episode of the Loose Cannons Podcast, a proud member of the BucsReport.com family of podcasts and officially presented by Red Cap Plumbing of Tampa Bay. It's your boy Sammer, hanging out with my boys Christian and Stank, and a special guest to start off week one of the NFL season, Coach Luke, the official offseason coach for my boy Rojo. What is up, Coach? Welcome to the show.
Oh, man, thank you guys for having me on. It's great to be here. I've seen some of the past shows, and I've enjoyed them. So I think I'm ready for you guys. I hope so.
Yeah, we asked some tough questions, Coach. We asked some tough questions.
I have some tough answers.
All right. All right. So just kind of give us a little bit of a background real fast of what you do with Rojo and kind of, you know, what your responsibilities are as it relates to him before we kind of dive in and start asking you some cool things about, you know, what you do in the off season with Rojo.
Sure. What I do with Ronald is pretty much just get him mentally prepared. After his first season, his agent reached out to me because of his first season. And I tell people I still remember the conversation I had with him on the phone. I was at the Scottsdale Fashion Square Mall with my daughter and looking for a play area that had been removed. I didn't know that it had been removed. So we were talking on the phone and just trying to get him in a frame of mind to trust to come down to Arizona and try to get some work done and try to rebuild his career after his first year. And again, taking into consideration, talking about a 21, 22-year-old young kid in the NFL, in a game of 24, 25-year-old guys. And for whatever reason, it just didn't go the way he had anticipated to go, which most guys, I always tell them, it's a hard transition from college football to the NFL. So he went through that and tried to get him in his mind to really understand the business side, the professional side of this, and the training side of this, because everybody in the NFL is fast and everybody is strong. But it's not about how fast you are, or how strong you are. It's about how you prepare mentally off season to come in to prepare and play for the upcoming season. So getting through that process and helping him to understand eating habits, his eating habits was really bad. That kind of contributed to a lot of the injuries in college and throughout the first part of his NFL career. And changing that up, his diet up, and putting on good weight, not just fast foods. And, you know, most of these guys, they're told in college to go gain weight. And first thing these strength coaches tell them to do, and these nutritionists told them to do, go eat a lot of pizza or eat a lot and retain that weight. And then when you come to camp, you'll burn the bad fat off and keep the good fat. That's not really true. It's unfortunate. But so we have to get him to understand and buy into that concept of eating a lot of salads and green foods and turkey burgers and salmon burgers and so forth, things that most guys don't like to eat. But then he started seeing the results and he started gaining some good weight his first offseason with me, went from 208 to 218, and then went on from there. So that's kind of a little history of, you know, how it started with Ronald and I.
We all noticed that he made a pretty big jump from year one to year two. Some of it obviously had to do with getting the ball more. Getting more opportunities. He looked more of, you know, the part of an NFL running back in his second year. But then heading into this past offseason, everything is about Tom Brady. It's been, Tom Brady's coming to town. Tom Brady's coming to town. When that happened, did you guys actually have to change what you were focusing on with Ronald as it pertains to the skill set that you were trying to kind of work on with him because of what Tom likes to do? Or was it simply just continuing on the process that you guys had already laid down?
I think it was just continuing on the process that we had laid down. We had a plan we have a plan for the next 5 years that is structured out and is set for him. And he accomplished 7 of the 10 goals that we had set out last year. 3 of them we couldn't. 3 of them we had. He absolutely had nothing to do with the 3. But 7 he accomplished because again he was on the field. So for us, it was basically year 2 was basically year 1 was building the foundation. As I explained to everyone, when you build a house, you have to build the foundation. Unfortunately, I'm not a builder, but when you build a house, you build the foundation because that's the strongest part of that home. And as you go into year 2, which is this now, you start adding things, decorative things into that home, whether it's a pretty chandelier or a nice door or windows. You start adding things that foundation now. So this year was year 2 into it, was to basically start working on his hands because everyone knew Ronald could catch. So that wasn't a big surprise. So I started putting together these workouts that we do 2 days a week. We would be running, doing different types of drills. 3 days, he's catching 150 to 300 balls a day. So, and that's coming from many different types of quarterbacks, not a jug machine, different quarterbacks. We're talking from 10-year-old quarterbacks to Brian Lewerke, who was with the Patriots in the practice squad. So it's a huge gap from professional quarterback. Again, you have the regular ball, the NFL ball, then you have the Pop Warner ball, and then you have the junior Pee Wee ball, and then you have the junior ball. So there's different types of balls coming at him, and he's having to learn how to position his hands to catch those particular catches from the different quarterbacks. So that was year 2 that we're working on. Blocking, something else that we had really touched on a lot of this year, because my first year with him was just basically, it was a late start getting in. So we had to just get him, I just had to get him ready to play his second year. And that was basically getting him part of the start, have the IQ of a football player to understand how this works, how the workouts are, how they're supposed to be structured, how you're supposed to sleep a certain time and wake up and work out 3 times a day and eat certain things, drink certain shakes, so forth. So year 2, we started off a little bit earlier. I wanted to start later. Ronald started off, he wanted to come in a little bit earlier just to get going, because apparently he had success in year 1 with us, but year 2 in his season, in his career. So we got into it earlier this season and just pretty much hit a lot of things that we were planning to get to. The COVID, unfortunate to say, helped us because we were able to spend more time on the pass catching, the blocking, the understanding the different schemes and pickups, blitz pickups, and so forth. So that actually helped us tremendously.
Hey, Coach, the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Why aren't teams implementing, the type of protocols you are implementing themselves? I mean, you got rosters where you have 53, guys or, potentially 53 employees. I mean, how is it that these teams in the off season don't have individuals like you employed to really get into the specifics, everything you just described in regards to, mental training, physical training? These guys have to go out on their own and seek out guys like you. And I'm sure a lot of them don't get that level of coaching. How is it that these teams aren't doing this already?
I think when you look at the overall, as you said, multi-billion-dollar industry, I think when you look at the overall athletes, you have 52 guys and you have 4 or 5 strength trainers. And they can't address everyone's issue individually and personally, as if Ronald comes down to me in Arizona and I set him aside and focus only on Ronald Jones. I'm going to get more results out of that one individual. I think it's more about quality work more than the quantity of the people. Because if I have 15 guys here and I'm trying to deal with 15 athletes and it's me by myself, well, I will definitely have the quantity of the guys and not the quality of the guys that will go out and be successful. So for me, I think I look at it from the standpoint of it's great because it's Ronald Jones and Jamal Williams with the Green Bay Packers. And there's been rave reviews about Jamal Williams in camp this year as well, because those 2 guys worked out together all offseason from February until July. So the information that was being retained by both, though they're both different types of running backs, they retained it all and they applied it into their own camps going in. So I think if that answers the question, I think it's more summarizing it to where it's more of an individual type setting that will help get faster results than more of a group of 15 or 20 guys together where 7 of them may retain that information and the other 7 or 8 may not get it all and right. Move on slowly.
Yeah, I was more so saying, I mean, I think that every individual player needs that type of personal focus, and having 4 to 5 trainers for 53 guys plus your practice squad or 90 guys during camp, in an off season when these guys are kind of left to their own devices to figure out what to do with themselves personally. And I realize that the teams have some limitations in regards to, what they can do with players in the off season. I'm just saying, like, how come you're not assigned? The teams are coming at you and saying, hey, can you reach out to Ronald? Can you reach out to Scotty Miller? Can you reach out to these guys in the off season and put them through these paces? Because this is the area where they need more personal attention, more personal training. I'm assuming it's the agents that are reaching out to you instead of the teams. Is it because the teams they're not allowed to overstep that, or is it just the way everything is set up?
I think the team has to focus on the team as a whole. And I think the agents, as you hit it right on. I think the agents, they have the responsibilities to make sure their clients are at their best, to be able to perform at their best. The team has to accept whatever they have to a certain point. Then if they can't produce, then the team's responsibility is to release those athletes and find someone else that is being able to produce. Because we all know that old hashtag NFL means not for long. Mm-hmm. And if you're not really on your game, you won't be there for long, no matter what draft round you were selected in. So the agents, that's more of their hands-on to say, well, I'm going to make a phone call and think I can get you someplace that'll help your career and try to put you back on the train track. So I think it's more so the agent's jobs to do that, more so than the team.
Also, I would imagine the union will probably have something to say about that. Like you said, like, even if the team tries to circumvene and, hey, you should have reached out, it's still, tampering, and it gets touchy. It gets iffy. Coach, you're right about the diet stuff, because I've been trying for the last 15 years to put on, unhealthy weight. I've been doing the pizza stuff and the chicken wings, and I'm not getting good results. It's not working.
You look good.
I'm trying, but it's not working. So I'm gonna have to get on that green stuff and the salmon burgers and all that stuff. Coach, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was pounding the table for the Bucs to take a running back this year. I'm gonna just be real. I wanted a running back. I wanted a running back worse than ever. The leap that Rojo took from year 1 to year 2, though, was absolutely incredible. I have to tip my hat to that. Call a spade a spade. And seeing this offseason, the workouts and all that stuff, I'm pumped. I'm on board. It looks like Rojo is literally just been cocked back and he's just ready to freaking take off. Where do you think he improved the most this offseason? I know, he was young the first year. He was 20 years old, moving across country. There was rumors about, being homesick, but he gained the weight. Was it his hands? Was it the pass blocking? Where do you think he improved most this offseason?
I think he improved the most this offseason mentally. And I think that's the far most important thing in a professional game, in any sport, in any walk of life, is the mental preparation. I mean, the work you guys do, you can't just find someone off the street to come in and do that and take your places and just replace you. That's simple. It's not that simple, because you have to mentally prepare for your job. You have to mentally prepare to be the best that you possibly can, so that if someone does come behind you, chances of them being successful and taking over what you did is probably going to be slim to none, probably none. So I think the mental was the biggest improvement that I saw in Ronald this year. And for him to come into camp with me this year, I had given him a later time to come in. And for him to come in earlier, that showed the mental maturity that he was going through as not just a 22-year-old young boy again, but now he's more showing to be of a 25-year-old maturing guy, of a veteran in the NFL. And looking at it from, he's saying, can I come in? I had to really shut him down and say, hey, let's just come in, just come in March. And he just kept, I want to come in in February. I want to come in. So he came in and we started working, and that was, I pounded it into him so many times that he was here. I said, one of the biggest growth I've seen in you is how you're becoming a professional about this now. You want to come into camp early. You're not worrying about partying anymore. You're coming in working Monday through Thursday. You want to get the work done. You want to focus on year 2 with us together, year 3 in the NFL. And I take my hat off to you, man. I think there's going to be some real success for your commitment that you're actually getting ready to get into right now. So I think his mental professionalism was the biggest jump. The hands and everything else, that's going to come eventually where, he's going to look more of a route runner and more of a receiver when he catches the ball. And he learns the concept also of not just catching the ball anyway, but learning how, if you're on certain sidelines, you have to put your pinkies together. The ball is above the chest, then you put your thumbs together. Those things he's starting to really understand more because he's making catches and he's like, oh man, I should have caught it this way. Or some coaches will be like, hey, as long as you catch the ball, you can make a play. But that's not really true either. You have to learn how to put yourself in a position where you're either going to be a guy that catches the ball and make a play, or you're going to be the guy that makes a play and makes the catch and takes it to the house and makes you a big time player now. So, but the mental part for Ronald is the biggest part of his development that I've seen this year. That's going to be scary.
Coach, a lot of running backs, a lot of rookies come into the NFL, and if they're not given the perfect opportunity or they're not given an opportunity at all, or even if they come in and, again, they take things a little bit more for granted, they don't take that work ethic seriously like you're describing, and they're labeled busts, and usually that bust tag sticks with them. The fact that Rojo, accepted what his agent, asked you to work with him. He accepted that, that help, and he took it seriously, and he's put in that work. That speaks a lot to, casual fans love to see that, because now you can root for the guy. You're saying, listen, there's some guy, it just doesn't work out, but you can never fault them if they've at least put in the work. Like, this guy worked his tail off. It didn't work out, but you can't say it was because of anything short of it just didn't work out. He tried his best. And a lot of guys, sometimes they float along and it just doesn't work out, and they didn't put in the right, work ethic. They didn't put in that effort. So hearing from you that he's coming in early, he wants to work, and he understands that this is now a profession and not a game. This is not just hanging out and playing football anymore. You're going to have fun, but that speaks volumes, and that's huge. And I know Christian wanted to draft a running back, and I don't know if he wanted that so much to say as it wasn't really a knock on Rojo. It's just you could never have enough backs. My question now leads to, when you saw the Bucs sign Leonard Fournette, did you have to have a conversation with Rojo, or were you kind of building him up mentally from a sense of, listen, competition is good. We're going to accept competition. As long as you do your job, there's nothing to worry about. Or is it just one of those things where, this is just the NFL, and did you have to have a conversation with Rojo, or have you already kind of built that into him?
Well, that's actually a really good question, because I have a conversation with him. We talk every day, every morning, 4 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock his time in the mornings. And we always have conversations. We're always just making sure game plan going into every day, every workout, making sure that little things are taking care of the detail, paying attention to detail. The conversation we had was it was pretty much more of a they got a running back through free agency. We knew they were possibly going to get another running back. I mean, that was something that we knew. And I told him this, and it was funny because he said to me, he's like, you hit it on the head. I told him, and I think it was after the draft, I said, I think you guys will probably get another running back. You'll probably need another running back, and they'll probably need a running back like you. That's someone that's like 225, because the change of pace is going to help tremendously, where someone comes in to relieve you. They keep pounding the middle and keep pounding that defense. And then you come back in after your break. And then now you hit those big plays that you're known for. You haven't lost any speed. You've actually gotten bigger, and you still maintain that 4.4 speed. So for him, it was more of it's great addition, because, you have a guy like Leonard Fournette, that's a great addition to add to your backfield. Then you have McCoy, and then you have Keyshawn Vaughn, So for us, it was more like, thank goodness you got some help. Now let's go to work, and let's put our foot down in the ground and keep moving now. But nothing was going to change, Ronald, because mentally, it wasn't a situation where any organization's bringing someone in to replace anyone. It's just you're trying to go to a Super Bowl. I think the thing that people don't understand is if you're trying to go to a Super Bowl, I mean, a great example is the Golden State Warriors. And I told Ronald, I said, what you guys just became? You guys just became the Golden State Warriors in the NFL. They got everybody on that team. They got 3-point shooters. They got guys in the middle that can hit, shots from the outside. Golden State doesn't shoot normally inside that 3-point line. So basically, that's what you guys have now. You guys have guys that can take it from any parts of the field, not just offensively, but my goodness, defensively. They've got guys all over that field. And that's what you really need to win a Super Bowl. That's what you really need to have that. You really need to have a component of a lot of great all-star players that understand it's a game and a team first. And once you can understand it's a team first, everyone is going to help because everyone has a role to play. So for him, it was a great addition. It was despite what people may have thought about him thinking it was something negative, that was not even the closest thing. That's the first thing from the truth.
They're just mad because their fantasy team, that's all they think about. Oh, he's not going to get all the carries. Listen, that running back room, all of a sudden is one of the best, if not the best in the entire NFL. Just kind of going back a little bit to the passing game and seeing it, in person, and you working on the specifics. Now we added a guy like Shady, and he's seeing it in the running back room. One of the best to ever catch the football out of the backfield, outside of maybe Marshall Faulk. This guy is number one, as far as dual threat running backs. How has that helped him? Seeing somebody like that, seeing it in action, seeing it in this offense, seeing, one of the GOATs, one of the best out there to do it.
He actually, and when him and I spoke about that when they acquired Sean McCoy, he actually put it in a context of this is kind of like Walter Payton, because Ronald has gotten to the point where he's now looking at Walter Payton, watching a lot of Walter Payton videos for the last 2 years, looking at how Walter carried himself, and that's how a lot of these workouts are attributed to. I got to meet Walter when I was 16, so he understands that Walter Payton type mentality of you work hard in the offseason and then the game slows down on Sundays. So when he got the opportunity to realize that Sean McCoy was there, he said, wow, man, this is kind of like sweetness now. I get to watch someone, that's been in the game for a while, how they take care of their bodies at this age. And, this is kind of like cool for me. I said, well, yeah, it's very good for you because now he can actually help mentor you even better to give you an idea and insight of, a lot of things that you're probably doing now, but then when you have conversations with him, you'll probably hear things like, say to yourself, man, I'm doing this right now. Or, man, okay, I'm not too far from doing what he's doing right now in the next couple of years. So I think, it was very good for him to know that was one of the additions to him, to help him, to mentor him, to help him understand how it is to continuously be a pro. Because if you're going to be the main cowbell, if you're going to be running back number one, they're going to try to put people around you to help you, despite people, as you hit it on the head, despite the fantasy people looking at it from the lack of carries or whatever. It's not about that. It's about helping this young man and this young man learning so that he can help someone else and everyone in that running group. And I believe what you just said 100% wholeheartedly. I think they've got the best running back backfield in the NFL by far, hands down. I mean, you can start off with Ronald Jones. You can go with LaShawn McCoy. You can go with, Leonard Fournette, Keyshawn Vaughn, he has to prove himself in the NFL because, that's the question mark right there. But with just those three guys there, you have to make a decision. How are you going to defend that team? Just not even the receivers, not even the linemen, just those running backs. And if you put both of them in the game at the same time, meaning you put Ronald in the backfield with Leonard Fournette, and then you put LaShawn somewhere on the wing, I mean, how do you stop that? It's just a nightmare.
We've been asking that question for a while, Coach. How do you stop this offense?
All offseason. Coach,
yes.
You mentioned Sweetness. That was part of Sweetness's workout routine, wasn't it? Was it not the running the hills? That's why you got him running the hills and stuff like that. I love it.
Exactly.
The second part of my question is when he came in, there's a lot of guys that remind me, maybe not in style but size, Chris Johnson, et cetera. When he started gaining the weight, I'm not going to lie, I started getting a little nervous. Like, is he going to lose that speed? And you said he hasn't lost any speed. So what kind of back are you guys trying to mold him into? Because when he came in, I saw him more of like a LaShawn McCoy type or a Chris Johnson, a scat back, quick, can catch it out of the backfield, can run inside, but not really. But he's kind of last year he was a battering ram, man. He was running aggressively inside, but he still had that juke and wiggle to him. What's the goal here? I mean, if he hasn't lost speed, what are you, just an all around monster? Because golly.
Well, I think that's actually interesting. That's a great question. What we focused on his first year was because Ronald, I felt he was too thin because of the injuries he was sustaining these injuries, and I felt that if this young man is going to play in the NFL, he's got to have weight behind him, but healthy weight that's going to help him if he starts to pound and if he starts to get outside and still be able to flash the elusiveness and quickness that he's known for. So the first year we went from 206, I meant to say not 208, we went from 206 to 218. So I felt, okay, let's see how you do at 218. Now in year 3, if you do well at 218 in year 2, then we'll go to 225. So we got to 225 in year 3, and the weight was so, he got to the point to where he was feeling really, really good. I mean, there's tapes of him in workouts that are not even on Twitter or anything. And he's just making people look like, I mean, he'll catch the ball and just make a couple moves, make one move, and then next thing you know, he's down the field. Like, how did he get to that fast? So he's so much more elusive now. And you're taking the elusiveness from 206 to 220, 225, and it's still there, but now it's more refined because now he actually knows how to make these cuts to not be standing behind the line of scrimmage and looking around and dancing around to where he's 1 foot in the ground and then he's out of there. So I think with him, he's understanding the concept a lot more. And again, he's watching a lot of Walter Payton videos. That's been his library. He's been watching a lot of Walter Payton videos on YouTube and understanding how to deliver the hit rather than getting hit. Because if anyone knows Sweetness always delivered the elbow. He always delivered the blow before the blow came to him. And that's why he played for 14 years in the NFL. Never had a knee injury, never had an injury that he could not recover from within 72 hours. So in the hill, you hit it on. Yes, all the workouts that he does are because of my interactions that I had with Walter at 16 years old. And took all that and brought it into the training world that I work with my guys now. And it's been beneficial for them because their careers are starting to really get to that point where now they're like, people are like, well, they weren't doing this last year. Man, what happened? And that's kind of the model now that's being created.
That's crazy that what Walter Payton was doing in the 80s still works today in 2020. Go back to the fundamentals, run the hill. Where did Rojo get that freaking stiff arm, bro? He out of nowhere. Year 1, we don't see anything from him. Year 2, he comes in and he's got this wicked stiff arm now. I think it was against the Titans. He just jacked one guy down to the ground and just hauled ass. I was like, oh my God. And he had a couple other runs that came back too because of some stupid offensive line holding calls. But where did you teach him that stiff arm, or is that just something he ripped off of Walter Payton?
What happens is with the stiff arm, I will not take credit for that. My wrists are not that strong. But I will say this. What he's been doing is he's been doing also some, he does 1,500 push-ups a day and 1,500 abs a day.
You said 1,500?
1,500.
1,500?
1,500.00.
That dude.
So he does 500 in the morning.
He's got some abs.
He does 500 abs and 500 push-ups in the morning. He does 500 abs and 500 push-ups in the afternoon. Then he does 500 abs and 500 push-ups in the evening. So a total of 1,500. So that stiff arm, and then of course, yes, he's watching the Walter Payton stuff. So you saw how Walter would switch the ball. So those are things we worked on as well. Him switching the ball and then being able to, when the pressure is coming, switch the ball to be able to get that free arm ready to push off to continue your momentum going forward or vertical. Because if they're allowed to get you before you get them, they're going to dictate the direction you're going to go. So the stiff arm is a combination of the sweetness and his mental preparation on stuff with the push-ups and the abs.
He should have been 1,000-yard back last year. I know you can't say it, Coach. I know he can't say it. But there was the Rams game, the Atlanta game, man. There was some bull, you know what? Like, come on, man. Some hold. And listen, not even on our offensive line. I'm not going to throw our offensive line under the bus either. There were some ticky tack, like stupid calls that come on. It wasn't even near the play. He had some incredible runs against the Rams called back. That last game against Atlanta, I mean, it's the last game. Most guys are checked out. I mean, you're trying to make golf reservations, fishing reservations. Where am I going to go? And this dude still juked half the damn team. Stiff arm Vernon Hargreaves, speaking of the stiff arm.
Cool. Yeah, I forgot about that one. That was a good one.
Vernon, thank you. My favorite one. Vernon. And just incredible. The whole time, because I want the running back, right, Coach? Sammer's looking at me like,
we got him, bro. We got him. We got him. We just need this kid to have a chance.
I'm hyped for Rojo this year. I'm hyped.
Hey, Coach. Yes. I mean, this guy's put on what?
21 pounds.
Yeah, 21 pounds of muscle. It sounds like you're a body weight guy, a plyo guy versus a weight guy, or is he in the weight room banging weights? How is he putting on that muscle? I mean, it sounds like he's on that Herschel Walker plan.
It's actually that's your great question. Yes, he's actually put on that weight and maintained it through push-ups because and it is a lot of cardio when you're eating 7 meals a day, and that's what he was eating, 7 meals a day, and he's doing his abs and his push-ups. So he's burning the bad fat off and he's retaining all the good fat. So that good fat is actually going to turn to muscle, strength muscle. So if you have a big body person pushing you, he's going to get tired eventually before the fourth quarter. But if you have a big body person that has the small muscles mixed with the big muscles, it's a continuous power that he's hitting you with every time. So you're going to get knocked out a lot quicker than the big guy pushing you for 3.5 to 4 quarters. And you're going to feel that impact a lot harder than the big guy that has all the big muscles that will eventually tire out, because eventually he'll just start sitting on you or just resting on you, compared to the guy that has the small muscles that constantly trigger the big muscles to combine the power and the force. It's going to be a bad day for you.
Explain that to me a little bit more. Big muscles versus small muscles. You can gain muscle mass by lifting weights. I mean, everybody knows that. But doing it body weight or plyometrically, like the way you're describing it, what's the difference in the type of muscle you're building?
Sure. So if I'm a running back, I'll use running back. If I'm Ronald Jones, I'm bench pressing 275 pounds in 4 sets. I'm going to get tired over the third set. I'm going to start getting 2 reps, 3 possible reps. I'm going to need some help. Then I'm going to rep number 4, to set number 4. Then I'm getting 1.5. Then I'm getting help with 2, help with 3, and help with 4. Well, that big muscle has deteriorated. So now if I come back and I put 150 pounds on the bar, and I want you to do it 15 times of 5 reps. 5 sets of 15. Well, by the time you get to set number 5, you'll probably need help at rep number 13 or 14. So you've done 4 sets at 100% max compared to doing 4 sets of the 265 at 45% max. So the big muscles are tiring out. The small muscles continue to work overtime. And once you put the big muscle, once you put the small muscle with the big muscle, then now you're going 265, but you're repping them out at sets of 5s and 6s and 7s and 8s consistently for 5 sets. So you combine both the small muscle and the big muscle to create a big bang. So
it's more functional for the job he has to do. He doesn't need to be, to be able to, bench 285 10 times. He needs the access to those small muscles, whatever it is, 30 times a game or however many carries he gets. That makes sense. That's interesting.
You need. I think what he's trying to describe is he's building a guy who's got the ability to just keep jabbing and jabbing and jabbing and giving you those body shots and not so many, KOs. He doesn't need the KO as much. He's just going to keep jackhammering away, and that's just going to wear you down a little bit more than just taking a couple big blows throughout that game. Coach, when Rojo first showed up, this is kind of a two-part question. When he first showed up and you first got your hands on him and you started to mold him, did you sense that he had a chip on his shoulder as if he had been, unrightfully labeled a bust and not given a fair shot? Dirk Cutter. Yeah. I mean, Dirk Cutter didn't give him a chance. No, we can say what we want here. That's what's cool. Dirk Cutter didn't really give him a chance. Dirk Cutter wasn't a big fan of rookie running backs, whatever the fuck it was. Did he come in and have a chip on his shoulder? And now heading into year 3 with expectations so high for this team and having a guy like Tom Brady there and knowing how Tom Brady likes to kind of lean on his running backs, both from, audibling to run and also throwing to them. What do you expect to see from Rojo this year? And does he still have that chip if he actually had that chip to start with?
The chip, no, he didn't have a chip. He was if I can put it in a context of when you have a puppy and you're raising that puppy, when that puppy knows it's done something wrong, it puts its tail between its leg and it becomes very, very, it's like very fragile. So it's looking around because it doesn't know when it's going to do something else wrong, when it's going to feel fragile. Ronald had that mentality to where he just knew that if this doesn't work, I'm okay with whatever happens. I'm good. I'm good with it. Compared to which is normal, which is very psychologically that's normal. Once you've been deemed a bust and you have all these people saying these nasty things about you on social media, and social media now, 51 years old, social media is very, very
No, you're not, Coach. You're 51. 51. Nah, come on, man.
And you could tell you're a trainer.
Oh, there it is. Yep, 51.
I like it.
You should shave that completely off.
Social media.
No.
Social media is a toxic place. It's a toxic place.
It is. And for a 21-year-old young man, that's like you might as well just, he's already in the tomb. Just put the nails on and just put him in the dirt. So that was huge for him to realize. And for me, it was huge because I was having to know that I've got to change this young man's perspective and help him to understand that you can't allow anyone to dictate your future but yourself. The second part is expectation for him this year, for Ronald this year. I don't think there is an expectation other than the goals that we've set. Tom Brady being there, that's great. But Ronald had goals going in to this camp as we did last year together, because we set goals every year in February, March, realistic goals, which like I said, he accomplished 7 of the 10 last year. 3 he was out of his control. This year, same 10 goals that he has set, which we have put together on paper. So his goals are set, and he's not going to play outside of those goals. Anything he achieves outside of those goals, it's a benefit. It's an added benefit for him. But I think his goals that we set last year were very, very attainable. I think the goals that he set this year are still very, very attainable as well. And I think that he'll reach those goals. I have.
Are we allowed to get a little peek and maybe one of them? You want?
I'll tell you one of the goals was being the best in camp. That's one of the goals, just being the best in camp.
He's probably the best in camp.
He's definitely been the best in camp this year. Yeah, agree. I personally, I see 1,500 plus yards for him, just all around purpose yards, 1,500 plus yards. And I don't even hesitate. I think that's kind of even a little bit low just because of how he ran last year, how Tom Brady utilizes his running backs this year and in the past. I honestly think that we have that guy. And, I'm actually a fan of Keyshawn Vaughn too, but I've been telling you, Christian, man, Rojo's right there, bro. He's got this, man.
I got you.
He's got this.
Last year, he from year 1, year 2 was insane. So Coach Neal was working on some magic. So year 2 to year 3, I mean, if there's another leap like that, you think he's going to be the best running back in the whole damn league.
I mean, plus, like he said, the kid up in Green Bay, dude, people are raving on this kid. Like, People are like, do not sleep on this kid, fantasy-wise, all of it.
I have Aaron on my fantasy coach. Should I get rid of Aaron and pick up Jamal?
I would take Jamal Williams now. I may be a little biased, but the work that Jamal Williams did this year.
Drafted Aaron in the second round, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little nervous.
Hey, Coach,
I got to ask you, Coach, before I forget.
Go ahead.
And I don't mean to keep going back, but I got to ask. You train these guys. It's not just about the diet. It's not just about the working out and the on-field stuff. You guys break down film as well?
Yes, we do. Break down their films from last year.
Coach. This isn't like me breaking any news because he publicly went on a podcast and said, we had a little bit of a problem at right tackle, Coach. We had a right tackle that went on publicly and said, I don't like to run block. So, Coach, we couldn't run right because he didn't like the run block. And we couldn't run left because the backside defender would get through because he had no knees and he didn't like the run block. Do you see, without mentioning names, just blink twice if I'm right, Coach. Just blink. You don't have to say nothing. Just blink twice. Is there going to be a big difference with this young cat, Trisha Wirth, that's hungry, who's a mauler? That's going to help quite a bit, you think?
I think from what I've heard of that young man, I think he's going to be a very, very stellar lineman. I've heard some great things about him. And I saw a video of him too, I think recently before I even got on with you guys. And I saw him eating. I think his girlfriend posted a video of him like eating what he eats per day. You know, I think this guy was like putting down waffles, pizza, all these types of things. And I'm saying like, my gosh. But then I saw a video of him also jumping out of a pool. And I'm saying like, this guy's a freak. And I think he's like, what, 6'6", 6'7", or something like that. 320, 315.
I got to use the rail to get in and out of the pool. Crazy. I'm not jumping out of a pool.
Coach, how would you recommend a guy that size maintain that body mass and not put the garbage in his body? Outside of protein shakes and things like that, like how do you – because you see these former NFL offensive linemen, as soon as they retire,
drink.
You know, they turn into normal-sized people sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. So how would a young guy like Tristan Wirfs, who is also, you know, can pretty much eat whatever he wants during the season, and, you know, just to maintain that size, how could he do it in a healthy manner?
By the way, he blinked twice, guys. He blinked twice.
that was a good one. I think as we're in our 20s, you know, I think we feel like we are indestructible in our path, and we can eat whatever we want and be able to burn it off through working out. I think it's dangerous. I think it's more dangerous now than it was back in the 80s and 90s, because now these guys, they're finding themselves having, you know, higher risk of heart attacks. And as funny as it may sound or seem, it's really true, because you're having guys that are, you know, eating all these types of food, all these types of greases, all these types of fats, and it's putting it into their body. Then they're going out to do a job that only 1% of the world can do, and to be the best at it when the guy across from them is putting different fuel into his body, eventually that's going to catch up to them. But again, it's the young mentality. These guys, you know, these young guys, they're young and they think they can just continue that way. And then eventually, after about 2 years, then I think they start figuring it out. Good way. I think their trainers get with them and say, okay, now I need you to start focusing on being a professional, because, you know, hey, maybe you've been getting beat by this guy who's an all-pro, and there's a reason why he's an all-pro, because he's not eating the things that you're eating. And you're almost an all-pro, but if we eliminate these things, the almost now becomes a surety. So I think that's just kind of what they have to really understand. And, you know, give me that kind of money he's got, I'll probably eat the same thing he's eating too, just to test the waters.
Speaking of food, Coach.
Fuel.
Listen, I don't taste anything, so I've been eating for fuel for like 2 weeks now. It's actually not that bad. Everything tastes like paper mache, but it's all energetic. And a lot of water, Christian. A lot of water.
Lots of water.
Listen, speaking of food, we love food on this podcast. We love wings. We love getting on the grill or smoking meats. So we always ask our guests, and I don't even know if you eat wings. You sound like you're ridiculously healthy. You're like a TB12 kind of guy. So
are wings healthy, Coach? Are wings healthy?
Yeah, not that bad.
I'll tell you, the honey barbecue, that's the wings.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
the official personal trainer of the Loose Cannons podcast just gave us permission to eat wings. He said they're healthy. I'm eating wings.
My personal trainer said I could eat wings anyway. They're kind of a good fat. I know they definitely have fat in them, but they're good fat. They're not, popcorn.
That's the question.
Not every day.
Oh, okay. All right, here. Listen. So we love wings on this show, Coach, and we have. We eat at least once a week. Agreed. Now, when you're
numbers up, kid, once a week. Come on.
I haven't eaten them in 2 weeks. Honestly, I could probably just eat wings for the next 3 weeks and we'll even it out. But listen, when you're having a wing, are you a dry rub wing guy, or do you got to have it sauced up and wet and just like constantly using napkins the entire time you're eating these wings?
Oh man, that's the only way to eat them is sauced up.
Thank you.
He already said honey barbecue. I already knew that was.
Yeah.
We are killing Sammer. We are killing Stank.
We're killing him.
Nobody appreciates the dry rub wings. Nobody appreciates the dry rub wings.
Coach.
You can't put those in the fridge and eat them the next day.
Thank you. Exactly.
I had leftover wings the other day. Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's hard.
Coach.
It's like eating deer meat. I love deer meat.
The most important part of the 2-part question is if you're having those wings wet. And I know you're a barbecue guy, but if you're doing buffalo, are you using blue cheese or ranch?
Oh, ranch. Come on.
Oh, Coach.
No. Cheese is like eating mothballs.
No.
What? No.
Mothballs by accident.
I was hoping you would say blue cheese was the key to any healthy diet. Now you say ranch.
This was going so.
Come on. Blue cheese is obviously a healthier option too.
Yeah, but because it's health doesn't mean it's always good.
Oh, it's delicious. Ranch tastes terrible. Listen, the original wing came with blue cheese.
I drink unsweetened tea from the islands. It doesn't taste good at all, but it helps me.
But ranch tastes terrible.
I would much rather drink sweet tea. That's not going to help me.
He doesn't love sweet tea, but I feel like I drink
kombucha and it tastes like vinegar, but I drink it anyways.
Can't drink that. Nah, man.
Can't do that.
That's good for your stomach.
I drink a nice shot glass of blue cheese to start my day every single morning.
God.
Yep.
I'm a blue cheese fan, but I just got a visual of that. Whoa.
And then I have my coffee. After I take a shit, I then have a shot glass of my wing sauce, and then I take my crude oil bath with the harem girls. It's pretty simple. It's a great recipe, guys. I beefed up. I've lost some weight. It works. Trust me.
Hey, Coach, real quick, you've spoken a lot about Ronald's maturity. And Tom Brady came into the locker room and immediately dubbed him Ron Jones, which
Rojo
just makes me feel like Brady saw a grown ass man, because you don't call a kid Ron. Ron is a man's name. Now he's Ron Jones.
Not Rojo anymore.
Yeah, he's not Rojo anymore. Brady dubbed him Ron Jones. Did you guys have any discussions about, Brady and the effect that he's had on Rojo's mentality? Or, is that Jordan effect just kind of an expected thing when you have the GOAT in the building?
Yeah, I think with that situation, I think it was a great thing because, again, I'm not sure if you guys knew this, but Ronald was going out there working out with Tom Brady between our workouts. So he'd go out there for 3 weeks and then come back and then go out there for another 2 weeks. So that was actually a great thing for him to get familiar with how he was throwing the ball and how he was catching the ball. When he was out there, he had 64 catches. Of the 64, 2 of them were bobbles that he still caught because he was trying to get his footing properly. So we're working on end zone catches as well, like toe touch catches as well. So dragging the feet. So of those 64, I think 68, those 68 passes that he caught, 2 of them, which was 66, 62 of them, 2 of them were just bobble passes that he had caught. So we knew that at that time he was in the right place because he would say, Tom Brady, he doesn't say anything about, he says my routes are good, my hands are good, placements are good, all the things we were working on. He said the only thing he wants me to start working on a little bit more is just running like I'm running through the route. So those were the things, that was the one coaching point that he received. So for a guy that could catch a ball for a year, consistently. And I don't know if it's that he just couldn't catch the ball, or that he just wasn't getting enough passes thrown to him is a conflict there with me as well. But for him to come in and to just give those coaching points compared to saying, hey, when you run the ball, when you run the routes, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. Hey, when you catch the ball, make sure you do this, make sure there wasn't a whole lot of dialect with that. So I think with Ronald, when he went out there, it showed him what we were working on here, that what he was seeing there. And again, all those different passes coming to him from different ages of kids and different sizes of the football helped him be able to put his hands and to be more secure catching the ball from Tom Brady. So I think it's all helped him tremendously. And I think that was his confidence going in. He wasn't scared going down to Tampa to start getting some work in with Tom Brady earlier. He was more excited compared to a kid in a candy store. Like, I get to go work out with the GOAT. Oh man, he had that for a second, but then he's like, realized like, man, people played with Jordan. People worked out with Walter. But once they got to work out with Walter, then it was like, he's just a normal guy. He's just a guy that demands a little bit more. And that's kind of the mind frame that he was in.
Speaking of scared, and I'm not putting words in your mouth or Rojo's mouth, but I get scared thinking about it. His hands have improved. He's gained the weight. He's his mentality is different, etc. It's all, theoretical until the bullets fly for real. Is there any nerves? I'm nervous, right? He got benched against Carolina. I believe it was Carolina, or who was it? I can't remember. Oh, it was Jacksonville. We're missing a blitz pickup. Is there any nerves? I know he's worked on that in the offseason, because if you miss a block, you missed one last year. That's number 3. He's a little more mobile. You miss a block and get 12 hurt. I mean, the whole season is gone. Where is he mentally with that? Because when the bullets fly for real, I mean, that's pressure. If you haven't felt pressure, that's pressure.
I think with him, it's more of, you know what, I can only control what I can, and I can't focus on anything that I can't control. I think with what he's doing, the preparational stuff, and you're 100% accurate. Once the bullets fly, the live bullets, then it's a whole different ballgame. It's like, I think Mike Tyson said it best. Everyone has a game plan until they get punched in the face. So I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same scenario here. Everything, we have a game plan going in, but what happens if something happens? How are you going to recover? If you miss that block, now there's certain things that happen. If you miss that block, can you recover and make that block? Can you stay on that block? Can you avoid your quarterback getting touched? Compared to that 21-year-old mind frame that if I miss the block, put my head down, close my eyes to the place, still going to get that guy killed. I think that's the mentality that he's in, that Ronald was in, where it's not about if he misses it, it's what he does once it happens. Because it's going to happen. But once it happens, where are you going to be? What type of person are you going to be? What type of player are you going to have the competitive drive? Are you going to have the competitive edge to not get beat, even though you got beat, but to recover and finish that last workout, finish that last drill, finish. That's his bottom line. That's in his mind. It's just finishing.
I love it.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm stoked for Rojo this season. I've been a fan of his since we drafted him.
I drafted him. Got him in fantasy.
Yeah, I didn't think he got a fair shake with Dirk. So, and honestly, I think Tom Brady is just going to allow him to flourish, because when they're in that 12 personnel, and I've been saying it all offseason, Tom Brady is going to be able to dictate when they run out of that, when they pass out of it, and having a guy like Gronk and having a guy like OJ out there together. I mean, I don't know many defenses that are going to be able to stop that running formation with those two guys helping on either end or on the same end. However he moves them around, dude, it's going to help Rojo. And having Fournette's going to help Rojo, and having McCoy's going to, having that 3-headed monster like that. Tristan Wirfs. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he hit, like you said on the last episode, Christian, his name hasn't come up in camp, which is good for an offensive lineman. Having gone against JPP and Shaq and those types of guys, and Sue and Golston and even Vita Vea maybe on a stunt, having that, those guys coming against you, that's probably the best way to train in this scenario with COVID and not having rookie camp and all of that shit. That's probably the best route to take as a rookie lineman. Okay, I face some serious hitters here. So all of that stuff combined, like I've said, man, I've been saying it since the offseason. 1,500 all-purpose yards for Rojo, and that's the floor. I'm sticking to it, man. And I'm sticking to 14-2 also. Coach, thank you so much for hanging out. It was awesome. You have some ridiculous insight. Oh, I think Christian has one more.
Hold on a second. Coach. Oh, Ronald's offseason is over now. This is Ronald's season. This is the end of his offseason. His season's about to start this Sunday's game week. Coach, how do we get this trio, this beautiful trio you see here of chicken wings? It's our offseason now. How do we get to Arizona? I need abs, Coach. How can you give me abs?
Thank you. I'm glad you asked that because we gotta.
We'll do 3 a day. Yeah. Coach. I will do it. I just need.
What we gotta do, Coach?
Get right. What do we gotta do, Coach?
I'm okay with my abs.
Get out here to AZ, man. Get out here to AZ, and it's got to be 100, 110 plus.
Hey, it's pretty high here too, Coach.
Christian, I think Christian heard you say that these guys are eating 7 times a day, and Christian's like, I'll sign up for that.
You got excited.
I can do that.
I can do that too, bro.
I'm 44 years old. If I eat 7 times a day, bro, I'm gonna be 900 pounds. It's not gonna happen.
You got to eat good 7 times, but he's not telling you to eat a turkey dinner good. 7 times.
I eat good.
You don't have 7 Whoppers. Or Big Macs.
I don't even eat fast food.
Okay, then you got nothing to worry about. You're eating 7 good meals a day, man.
I'm gonna do 1,500 push-ups and 1,500 sit-ups a day.
That's crazy. I did 1,500 in the past summer total.
Coach, can I get a more realistic number, Coach? 1,500.
Do 15, bro. Start at 15.
How about 500?
500
per day.
A day?
So a day.
Okay.
Listen,
I'm gonna at you on Twitter, Coach. You follow me back. I'm gonna at you.
Same here.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna follow you guys. I want you guys. I don't know how to do it though. You have to follow me. You have to like send me a request or something first, because again, I'm still learning how this stuff works. So once I see it, then I'll do it. But no, it really 500. Start with 500. 500 a day. Abs, and the abs are just crunches. All your shoulder blade has to do is come off the ground. You don't have to go all the way up to your toe. Just your shoulder blade has to come off the ground to contract your abs.
It's not 500 all at once, but relax. It's 500.
So hold on. So this is now a thing on our show. We're gonna do 500 push-ups.
Challenge you guys.
And 500 sit-ups a day.
7 days a week, or is that 5 days, 3 days?
You
said Monday to Thursdays with Rojos.
5 days a week.
5 days,
guys.
For us.
5 days a week, guys.
Okay.
So Monday through Friday.
Listen.
500 push-ups a day? Holy shit.
Listen.
You got
Coach just challenged us. I know I'm going to step up to the challenge.
I'm going to step up. I'm going to do it.
Stepping up.
500 a week.
What if I just donate $500 to like a charity a day?
Sammer, you can't buy your way out of everything, Sammer.
No.
This is good for us. We'll keep each other accountable. 500 and 500.
500 a day keeps the COVID away. I'm doing it.
And we're all going to be keeping up on Twitter.
All right.
He said he's keeping you accountable.
I'm going to check in.
Oh,
all right. I'm going to make a sheet, and we're going to make it public.
Check your sheet.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like check it off on Google Documents or something every day, each of us, and we'll just hold each other accountable. See who gets the most check mark or most days checked off in a month. Let's see if we can do it.
Coach Luke, not to be weird, you want me to send you a picture, like no shirt, so you can see my progress?
Listen, I was gonna say, this is interesting. I was gonna say, if you guys want to make it more interesting, we can do a before and after picture, like I do with Ronald and Jamal. We can do it before and after picture. I guarantee you, if you guys do it, you'll see results in your body.
You want full nudity? You want full nudity, like head to toe, or what?
What are you talking about? No.
Coach, I could baby oil up for the video, for the picture.
No.
Yeah. We all got it. Yeah. We can all baby oil up.
Coach, you didn't know we're sponsored by baby oil.
My baby oil, Coach.
Yeah. Okay, got it right here.
That's a little TMI.
Listen, I got a really nice beard, Coach, but my body is hairless. It's absolutely hairless. It's very well groomed. I didn't know what you wanted to see, because maybe makes. I got a lot of weight downstairs, if you know what I'm saying. So like push-ups are kind of different.
By the way, guys, just we eat a lot of chicken wings. We like blue cheese. We shit a lot. Red Cat Plumbing.
Oh, wow. I like that. I don't know what's wrong with you, Christian. Maybe you should go see a doctor. I don't shit so much that I'm just legit. I'm like, yeah, it's the wings this time. Yeah. It's absolutely the wings.
I don't shit enough, but it's 500 crunches.
This podcast is taking a terrible turn.
Oh, man.
I don't know where we got lost here.
Yeah, we're just all over the place here.
I think we got lost on the before after pictures.
Yeah,
definitely.
It went all down. It went down the slope after that.
Listen, I'll send you a full-on body, like top to bottom, and I'll just put like a big black bar so you won't see, what matters. And then we'll kind of do that Borat style. Do you want a front and a back, or how does this work?
What is this? Coach,
actually, you know what? Actually, the front and the front, like the neck to the abs, is fine.
Okay.
And then the same thing from the neck to the back down to the lower obliques.
Well, that's right, because your shoulders and stuff from the push-ups. Yeah,
I'm suck in.
No, you don't want to suck in.
I like to include my face because I think I have a superior physique. So
I think that's a different podcast.
Okay.
That's a different show.
We're describing basically how we're going to upload photos to our OnlyFans accounts after this is all said and done.
Coach, listen, you said you watched the previous shows. You do what you were getting into.
Yeah, you should have known.
You know now.
That's why it's called the Loose Cannons.
Loose Cannons.
Right.
Hey, that's okay. I'm all right. I'm okay with that. I always tell people I would prefer the relationship where I know who you are so that I know to accept you. Because if I have to find out who you are, then I don't need to be around you.
Absolutely. We'd rather be hated for who we are than loved for who we are not. So all of the Loose Cannons fans out there, just a little heads up. This is game week. So we have some awesome stuff in store for you guys. We have some cool announcements coming up. With the fact that we now have a big time sponsor in Red Cap Plumbing, there are going to be weekly and episode by episode giveaways that I can't announce yet, but I will later this week. Again, Coach, thank you so much for hanging out. I know it got weird at the end. I need your personal cell phone so I can send you these cool photos of my body. And thank you for joining us. Bucs are going 14-2. Rojos
16-0.
Oh, 16-0. Boom. There it is. Thank you again, Coach. Go Bucs.
Coach.
Go Bucs.
Guys, go Bucs. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Coach.